Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Young Master 3, and what do you know, it's time for the top 5 of the month for the month of December. If you think it's a little bit strange that I wear the same clothes in this video, it's just because I made this video and the previous video in the same day, or like at the same time basically, so yeah, no need to worry about that. But anyway, these are going to be the top 5 of the month for December, and yeah, let's get to it. At number 5, we have A Boxcar Bertha from 1972, directed by Martin Scorsese. I believe this was his very first film he directed. It's kind of a trashy type feeling as well to it, because I believe this was produced by none other than Roger Corman. And apparently, I'm not sure about Martin Scorsese himself, but I remember it was some other actor, I believe, that mentioned this to Martin Scorsese, that, oh, you shouldn't produce, you're better than this, you don't need to produce this trash, or like make this trash. And then I'm like, oh, come on, but we like that type of trash. At least I did. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this film. I mean, I've barely even talked about it, but if you're a fan of Martin Scorsese's films in general, this might be worth to take a look at. Or if you're a fan of any of those schlocky, stupid, like Roger Corman produced films as well, this might be the one for you. It's basically about this character Bertha. She's basically, I believe she's I don't think her family. I think her father and mother is dead or something, and then she's like kind of like drifting away, and she hooks up with David Carradine, uh, or his character, so to say. And I do believe that the actress, what's her name, Barbara Hershey. I believe she was romantically involved with David Carradine while they made this film. So maybe that's the reason why they showed in a bunch of like love scenes of that in this film as well. And apparently Barbara Hershey wasn't really pleased with this because I mean it was probably Roger Corman's idea to begin with, like, oh, we need some more nudity, we need some more violence in this film. So I believe, I mean, it has a whole lot of that. It has a great mix of all of that. So it's not like it's super sleazy or anything like that, and it's not super violent either. I think it has a very nice balance to it. Yeah, but this is definitely more of a crime drama thriller film than a straightforward action film, even though it has a little bit of action in it as well. So, but anyway, Boxcar Bertha, number 5. At number 4, we have a Christmas classic which I had never seen before. I'm really glad that I finally sat down and watched this film. The film is A Christmas Story from 1983, sorry, directed by none other than Bob Clark, who directed Black Christmas, which is probably one of the best Christmas horror films out there. Now, this one is really a heartwarming story about this little boy called, what was his name? Ralphie. Yeah, it's just a strange name, Ralphie. He wants this like gun for Christmas, and he tries to do everything like in his power to get a hold of this present, or like this Christmas present. But everyone tells him like, "Oh, you're just gonna shoot your eye out." Yeah, really charming story. I mean, in the beginning of the film, I felt like, oh, this is strange. I don't really like this kid, or I don't like this family, or whatever. But with every other film, like something that pops up from time to time, you really grow to appreciate the characters the longer into the film you get, really. And there's like this bully in that as well that's kind of like harassing him. The way he's portrayed and the way he's like dealt with, I think it was really funny. Yeah, I don't really need to tell you anything more about this because it feels like it's a Christmas classic and everyone has seen it. I know for a fact that they made a sequel to this called The Christmas Story 2, I believe, which was released in 2011 or 12 or something. But I've heard really atrocious things about that, so no need to check that one out, apparently. So yeah, A Christmas Story at number 4. At number 3 is a film that really, really surprised me. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a sequel to an older film. This is a sequel to a Don Bluth film, and apparently, I don't think Don Bluth was involved in this project, other than like writing credits for some of the characters that appears in this film as well. But All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, which came out like it's like 7 years after the first one or something like that. One thing that really threw me off was that the voice actors, the only voice actor to reprise his role, I believe, was that Dom DeLuise, I believe. It could have been some other actor that replaced the roles, but I think he was the only voice actor that I know for a fact that replaced this role, or like in voice acting. Now, the character Charlie, the the German Shepherd, I believe he is. I'm not really sure, but anyway, he was voiced by Burt Reynolds in the first film, and in this film he's replaced by Charlie Sheen. That kind of threw me off in the beginning, but then like, oh, whatever, this is still kind of good. Um, I really appreciate, because the first one has like a villain in it, and that villain kind of returns in this film. But the funny part about that is that he might not really be the main bad guy in this film. That really surprised me, and I really enjoyed the like the villain or the villains or whatever in this film. So yeah, that was really great, and I really liked the chemistry with the kid in this one. Like, I mean, I used to assume they thought, well, we need to have a kid in this one as well, just like we had in the first one. But for obvious reasons, they couldn't have that original character back, like the Rosemary, I believe her name was, um, because the voice actress for that um, sadly, like was a victim of homicide. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think that's been talked about to death at this point. But All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 really, really surprised me. I mean, maybe not as good as the first one, but a very, very good sequel at that. So yeah, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 at number 3. And then at number 2 we have the film called M from 1931. Another film which has a very controversial type of subject matter. It's sort of suggested in some of these scenes with Peter Lorre. It's not really any big spoiler because he's mainly like the bad guy. Peter Lorre is phenomenal in this film, and it's so creepy without showing you all of the things that you know it's all about. So it kind of like takes all these different routes, and even though you do know from the get go what he's really up to, um, it's still really disturbing for at least for its time, I believe. Yeah, this is a really great classic that I can recommend to anyone, basically. So M at number 2. Now, what could possibly be at number 1? You know, I love slasher films in general, and I feel like there's been a lack of those, especially in America. I'm not really sure if it's in the same. That sounds stupid because I don't think there's been really that big, like many slashers outside of the US either. But I really like the Terrifier films. The funny, this doesn't have anything to do with Terrifier. I'm just mentioning about slasher films in general. That it feels like the Terrifier films really revived the slasher genre. And by that I mean it kind of made it popular again, because if before this it's just been a bunch of like ghost and demon in the house type of films that I'm just so sick and tired of, and just relying on jump scares and PG-13 garbage. So this was a really breath of fresh air. Now I'm just gonna tell you the film without before I just mumbled you to death. Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. This is strange because this just doesn't really come across as a Eli Roth film, but I really appreciate this slasher film that obviously takes place during Thanksgiving. And as a Swede, I don't really know what the whole big deal about Thanksgiving is in general, except for like gathering the family and eating some turkey and whatnot. And like, yeah, so what? But then again, I'm just a Swedish guy that I don't really know that tradition very well. But it's basically about this homicidal maniac goes around killing people dressed as this like old. Is it some old pilgrim, I believe, or something? I'm not really sure if you call it a pilgrim, but I think you get what I mean. And this has a really nice blend of splatter, blood, gore, and like these death scenes like mixed with really great humor in it as well, which I thought was really funny. And the cast is kind of interesting as well. He has this guy who appeared in Hostel, the first one, Hoffman, I believe his name is. What's his name? Hoffman? I just need to double check. I think you probably know who I'm talking about. Rick Hoffman, yeah, that's the actor. He was also in the first Hostel film, so it was kind of funny to see him in this film as well. And one actor that really surprised me really was Patrick Dempsey, because I think he's most known for his like romantic comedy films in general. So to see him show up in a film like this, like in a horror film, like slasher film, that was really funny. But yeah, Thanksgiving, really, really entertaining film. I loved this slasher film. I'm really looking forward to see the sequel to this. Yeah, keep your eyes open for that film. I'm just gonna say, if you like the first one. So yeah, that's the end of the top 5 of the month for the month of December. Now I'm probably gonna make these videos right away before it's just so I'm right around the same schedule that I don't need to like bash you with like videos. But yeah, keep your eyes open for these next videos, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.